Most people believe that to speak English fluently, they need a massive library of words in their head. But let's look at the data. An average native English speaker knows between 20,000 and 30,000 words. Yet in daily conversation, they use only about 2,000 to 3,000 words. As a non-native speaker, you already likely to possess all of these words, like 3,000 words, depending on what level you are, that are necessary for 95% of all communication. So why do you still feel stuck? Why does your mind go blank right when it matters the most? One of the biggest misconceptions about language learning people have is this: if I know the word, I should be able to use it. But knowing a word and being able to use it are completely different skills. You can recognize a word when you read it. You can understand it when someone else says it. Yet your brain may still fail to retrieve it under pressure. That's not a vocabulary problem. That's a retrieval problem. And retrieval depends on attention, emotional state, working memory, and confidence, not just knowledge. Today we are going to look at the psychology of the blank mind and how to double your perceived fluency by changing how you think, not just what you know. So to understand this, we need to talk about how words are stored. Think of your vocabulary as having two layers. The surface lexicon is where words are lightly stored. You've seen them, you can recognize them, they're familiar, but weakly connected. The deep lexicon, on the other hand, is where words are richly connected and they're linked to the meaning, the experience, your emotion, and the usage. These words come out easily when you speak. The problem is, most learners focus on adding more words to the surface lexicon, but fluency comes from strengthening access to your deep lexicon. Now, this leads to another critical distinction: your passive vocabulary and your active vocabulary. Your passive vocabulary is what you understand, and active vocabulary is what you can produce on demand. That means whenever necessary, you can use that word. Passive vocabulary is always much larger. That's normal, even for native speakers. You need to understand one thing: fluent speakers are not people who know more words. They are people who can flexibly move between ideas when one word fails. So what actually happens when you forget a word? Here's the pattern. Let's say you're speaking and your ideas are flowing. Then suddenly you want a specific word. Your brain doesn't find it immediately. Instead of moving forward, what happens is your attention locks onto that one missing word. And your brain says, it has to be this word. If I don't say it, I will probably sound stupid. And you think everyone will notice if I can't say this word. This is mental fixation. And fixation kills your fluency. At that moment, three things happen. First, your working memory overloads. Second, your attention narrows. And third, your ego steps in. You start judging yourself while speaking, and the brain cannot retrieve language efficiently under self-attack. This is very crucial to know. So this is why fluency collapses, not because of English, but because of attention hijack. Okay? Now here's the skill fluent speakers use, often unconsciously. It's called circumlocution. Circumlocution is the art of talking around a word. It's the ability to describe an idea when the specific label for it is missing. And this is not a backup skill. It's a core fluency skill. Children use it. Native speakers use it. Professional communicators use it. For example, when you forget the word colleague If you are a word searcher, you would stop and stammer. But if you are a meaning expresser, you would say, the person I work with at the office. That means when you forget a word, you are not depending on that specific word. You are trying to describe the idea with the words you already know. So when you embrace circumlocution, your fluency feels twice as fast because you never stop the flow. You stop searching and start describing. Not because your English just improved, but because your attention shifted. You understand that meaning comes first, words second, in terms of importance for fluency. Now, you also know that there is never just one way to say something. There are dozens. And you remember that fluency is not precision. Fluency is movement. It's like refusing to depend on a specific word and using words from your deep lexicon to express the idea and communicate the meaning. So here is a rule I want you to internalize. If a word does not come within 1 or 2 seconds, stop searching. Do not chase. Instead, signal thinking and keep moving. And to sound natural, you can use some fillers as a transition. Like, how can I say that? What do you call that? Let me think for a second. It's something like, or I mean, or how should I explain this? When you're using these fillers, you're actually buying your brain some time to figure out the way you can easily describe the idea without panic. Or you can simply pause. That's even a more polished way of managing the disruptions. Many advanced and articulate public speakers do that. And as you pause, tell yourself silently, I don't need the word, I need the idea. Then describe what it does, what it's similar to, where it's used, and why it matters. Your listener follows meaning, not vocabulary. You can actually test it. If you ever tell a story to someone using some advanced vocabulary, and right after you finish, ask them to tell you the same story, and they will miss out 90% of the words, the exact words that you use, but they will come up with 100% of the meaning. Now, here is how to train this skill. First, description practice. Take simple objects, explain them without naming them. Second, timed speaking. Speak for 60 seconds on a topic. If a word doesn't come, force yourself to describe anyways. Then third, recovery drills. Intentionally pause and say, how can I explain this? Then continue calmly. If you practice these, you are training attention control, not memory. Not trying to search the word from your memory. Now let's end with a redefinition of fluency. Fluency is not the perfect recall of forgotten words. Fluency is successful communication under imperfect conditions. Forgetting words will happen, even to native speakers. But the difference is not the vocabulary. It's mental flexibility. That's what you want to achieve. That's what you need to work for. So when you stop searching and start expressing, your English doesn't sound better, but you feel safer while speaking. And that safety is where real fluency lives. And that fluency gives you confidence. That's all for today. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next.